Hello, my name is Boris from DJIG LLC. I'm a government contractor, consultant. I've been helping small businesses, medium-sized businesses, even large businesses win government contracts. I'm a top-rated talent on Upwork. I'm also on Fiverr. Today we're going to talk about SBIR. SBIR is a program that is put in place by the SBA administration to help small businesses getting funding in order to develop their innovative ideas. So that program is really there to be able to push businesses to have a fund to get their idea into finished products, and then once those products become finished products, then the government can actually purchase those products, right? So before we dig too far into all that is, or you can leverage that in order to push your small business, I would really appreciate any support if you can go ahead and subscribe to our channel. All right, let's dig in. What's SBIR? So the Small Business Innovation Research Program, this is what SBIR stands for. Um, it's a special government initiative that gives funding to small businesses to help them create innovation um, technologies. So think of that as a fuel for startups that are very innovative, right? So one fact that you need to know is that the US government gives about 3 billion US dollar every year for SBR through the SBIR program. So it's a very large number. So it's something to not take lightly. And the purpose of that is to be able to support small businesses with research and development funding while encouraging technological innovation that benefits the country. If you are running a small business with a promising idea, SBIR could be your gateway to success. Highly recommended. We're going to talk about the details of the program. How do you get the money? What do you have to do? And what are the different phases that that you have to follow and to do in order to get the funding, right? So the program is divided into three main phases. So in the first phase, this is where ideas are tested. If you get selected into the program, your business will receive up to 275,000 US dollar for 6 to 12 months to prove your concept. If you're able to pass that stage, then you get to phase two. In phase two, this is where you get into the R&D. So in the R&D, your business will receive up to 1.8 millions, and that's up to 2 years. If phase one, that's of course assuming that phase one is successful, right? Then now your business will have that 1.8 million to be able to continue your research and development, right? Assuming that this phase two is successful, that your R&D goes well, then now you're eligible to go to phase three. And phase three, it's the commercialization phase where there is no more funding coming from the government, but you directly eligible for government contract. This is big here because you've already proven the government that your idea can be is doable, right? That this was a proof of concept in phase one. In phase two, you did the R&D and development. That means you have a finished product. R&D means research and development. That means at the end of the R&D phase, you have a finished product. And phase three, you have a product that is ready to be commercialized. And this is where you become directly eligible to sell that product to the government. And that's very, very important because you already have that relationship with the government. They're already aware about the product that you're creating, and they can see value in there, and you will be able to land contract very easily, or easier than someone who's trying to bring a new product to the government, right? And we have about 11 US agencies that are involved in that program. You have DoD, NASA, Department of Energy, and so many other programs. we're going to talk about eligibility. Who is this program for? Like, who is actually eligible to participate in this program? Of course, this is not a program for for large corporation. No, no, this is a program for small businesses, businesses that have you need to be a small business and you need to have 500 or less employees, right? You can have more than 500 employees, and one of the owner um, needs to be well, the majority owner of a business needs to be a US citizen or a US permanent resident. So that means, if the business is made up of foreigners, that would not work. You have to be that business needs to be composed of at least 51% of ownership of that business needs to be owned by American or US permanent residents, right? So so this is the eligibility in order to be able to participate in that program. And now we're going to talk about the benefits of this program. I know we talk about the funding and and so on and so on. Yes, that's good too. Those are very good. Of course, the funding will help you to get through R&D and so on. But while you go through R&D, if you are able to develop a intellectual property during the phase two, guess what? You keep that intellectual property for yourself. Your company keeps that. That's very amazing, yeah. And then another benefit is the market credibility. You've proven to the government that you can develop a product, more likely they will purchase that product. So you're building that market credibility, and that one agency can go and talk to other agencies about what you just created, right? No. And then let's talk about the disadvantages. And to be honest, there's always some disadvantages, right? One of the disadvantages of SB program is that only 20% of applicants actually gets funded. So it's a very competitive program. So the competition is high. You really have to stand out. You have to be able to come up with with an innovative idea that has use. That can have use for the government too. And then another downside too is the time it takes to get to the application process. It's a long application process, and and the review process itself is also long as well. And then also the compliance is very very strict. You must follow government regulations very closely, or you will get denied, or you can get kicked out of a program, right? So those are few disadvantages, but I believe that those are fair. Those are obtainable things that that you can walk through. I believe that competition is good. So if 20% of applications gets accepted, then you know what you need to do to stand out. Now that it's a highly competitive program, but of course the fact that it's a time consuming. So the soonest that you have a innovative idea, you definitely want to make sure that you get to learn about the program. This is one of the services that we provide. If you want to get your application through the program, we can assist you through that process. Or can a new business, a small business, or even a new government contracting business use this SBIR program in order to um, get started? So really, there are a few things that you can do here. So you can just start small. That just means by applying for phase one. This is the beginning of the process, right? But even before you get there, you have to make sure your idea is innovative, right? Because we're talking about innovation here. This is not just I'm developing a website or I'm developing a web application. Web application maybe, website maybe, but there's too many people doing it. That's you have to be very very innovative and try to get something that it's gonna be solving an important problem, right? That you think the government or even the country might have, right? So then you will go through application process, then you go into phase one, right? And then once you get through phase one, then next is to the building experience, from phase one to phase two, so that you can have solid experience in your portfolio for when you go into phase three to start applying for contract. You have to document everything, all those different project that you've worked on through a phase 1 and 2, you have to document them, right? All those different projects, because in some cases you might develop more than one product, right? You have to be able to document all of those so that you can showcase them later in phase 3. Something you can do to help you win more contracts later. And definitively you need to network. That networking, we always talk about government contracting being a relationship based business. It is true. I always say it doesn't mean that you need to know someone in the government in order to win contract. It just means that the more your business name show, the more you will be remembered, and get called maybe, right? So just networking is always important, and that happens by attending event, join forums, and join special notices on sam.gov, um, and then yeah, I think those are um, good tips to help you get going once you're in that program. Yeah, so as a conclusion, I would say, yeah, it's a very solid program if you're able to get into it. And once you're into it, you have to be able to stay into it too, because it's not just about getting into the program. You have to be able to use the money, wisely as it is meant to be used, and also be able to deliver, right? Because there is a product that you have to deliver at the end, especially if you pass phase 1. So definitively, if you're able to get through that process, I'll definitively encourage you to take that very seriously, because it's the government betting on you, and they only hope for you to succeed, right? So they wouldn't unless they thought that you will succeed. So yeah, and I really appreciate you watching this video. Make sure you subscribe and share, and let me know if there's any topics that interest you about government contracting. We can make sure we cover them.